Good morning to all. Happy Sunday. This is going to be a pre-recording my video in regards to the number 7 key principle for running a successful business. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Sunday thus far. But like I said, this is going to actually be a pre-recording or actually putting this video out there for you all to review tomorrow. So let's talk about that. If you actually been following me, we've been talking about the key principles for running a successful business. And today, like I said, I'll be going over number 7. So it's the 7 key for running a successful business, and it's personal, organization, and mental discipline. Also important. The reason why I say that, because if you are not organized, believe me, you're going to cause your days, your weeks to become very stressful and overwhelmed. And you actually can avoid that. And as far as that mental discipline, you actually want to be disciplined in this area, these areas. Otherwise, you're going to feel like you're going against, how you say, going against yourself, if you will. You're not making it easier. You're actually making it harder for yourself when you can actually simplify things, okay? And we don't want to get stressed out, get overwhelmed. Uh, so we need to have a mental discipline to actually do these things as far as the personal organization and mental discipline, okay? Personal organization and mental discipline is the foundation for achieving your goals and maintaining balance. Okay, I'm gonna read that one again. Personal organization and mental discipline is the foundation for achieving your goals and maintaining balance. Okay, let's go over the first part of this. Okay, the key principle for running successful business in regards to personal organization and mental discipline. Understanding the connection. The connection. Personal organization and mental discipline work hand in hand. Okay, personal organization helps you manage your environment. Very important. Your tasks, also important, and time, so you can focus on what matters. Okay, if you don't have personal organization, like I said, it's gonna mess with you mentally, and like I says, cause unnecessary stress. Okay, mental discipline ensures you stick to your commitments, maintain focus, and follow through, especially when motivation dips. And if you do have your own business or businesses, you actually know that that's a daily thing. In other words, motivated, you're not going to be motivated everything. So every day. So if that motivation dips, you got to have that mental discipline. Okay. And once again, because it ensures you stick to your commitments and maintain your focus. Okay. When that motivation dips together, the benefits from both of these together, they reduce stress. I told you, remember I said that at the very beginning, increase clarity, and it's going to boost your productivity. Okay. The second thing, let's talk about core principles of personal organization. Okay. Clear spaces. You need to clear your mind. Okay. So it's going to be doing. Um, it declutters your physical space to minimize distractions. Okay. In other words, is you can't have clutter in your physical space or it's going to be a distraction. Okay. Keep your most used items within reach and everything else stored away. Okay. I actually definitely try to do that on my desk area, which is actually uh, very compact at the moment right now. So I actually make sure, as far as like some pens and highlighters or anything that is very important, most used items I need, they're within reach where I won't actually have to go get up, move around. They're actually within reach on my desk area. Okay. Uh, the next thing, let's talk about the core principle of personal organization systems over memory. Okay, we all know too well, and some you, especially as we get older, memory is not like when you're 16. Some of us, even I'm realizing through loved ones, has does sometimes doesn't have nothing to do with age. I have found out that some of the younger generation, because of social media, if you will, their memory is not like it was when I was actually when we was younger. Someone my age or older, okay, or a little younger than me. It's just not there because back in those days you actually had to maintain things, retain in your memory, and because of social media, especially a good example. not to get too much off track. If you ask someone their telephone number right now, their cell number, most people probably can't tell you, or a loved one, they just don't know because once again, it's just the world that we live in now. This just pick up my phone. I don't know. Let me give it to you. Let me get my cell phone. Okay. It's so in other words, systems over memory. Okay. So in other words, you actually don't have to, even where we used to, we didn't have those devices that we have now. So what they're saying uses systems over memory. Okay. Especially like I said, if you don't actually have a good memory or you don't want to have to get overwhelmed trying to memorize something. So systems over memory. So using systems like planners. Okay. I actually have a daily planner. Actually, that one that I actually carry around with. I actually have my Google Calendar, which is accessible on all my devices, whether I'm sitting here in front of my PC, my laptop, or on my phone. Okay. Google Calendar, just any kind of system that definitely have planners, calendars as well. That's what I'm talking about. Planners, same thing to me. Calendars, or apps, so your brain isn't overloaded trying to remember everything. Okay. But once again, nowadays they got too many systems that can actually help you with that. Okay, but the important point here is actually using them, not using them. Okay, it's important to use those. Okay, create repeatable routines for daily, weekly, and monthly tasks. Okay, and if you do follow me, like I said, I right now I actually plan mine on Sundays, like my week. I plan a week, trying to plan a week ahead. I'm actually really interested in actually planning a whole month ahead, where that will actually take off some of that, reduce once again some of that stress of being overwhelmed because everything's taken care of for a whole month. But right now I do mine weekly. So create repeatable routines for daily, maybe for your daily task, weekly and monthly task. Okay. It's going to reduce all that stress as well. Um, prioritize effectively. Okay. So prioritize, use important versus urgent method to identify what truly what matters. Okay. So make sure you're using important versus urgent method to find out what truly matters. In other words, is it important to get my schedule? Uh, make sure it's updated. Okay. Or is that going to be urgent? Or is it an urgent matter? What's more important, actually getting it down to urgent matter? Someone actually calls and tell you it's urgent, but all they're saying is urgent to them because they next to your next door neighbor, something's baking a cake and they said, oh my God, I forgot some flour, I forgot some sugar or something, but they tell you it's urgent. Okay, you actually have to prioritize that. Okay, use the important versus urgent method to identify what truly matters. Okay, and I know you're probably laughing about that, but believe me, there's too many times I've been guilty over it. Something that's important versus someone else, not necessarily urgent to me. It could be someone else, a call or someone says it's urgent for them, but is it urgent for you? Once again, or even if you put in your mind, oh, that's urgent, I need to go take care of it. Urgent to me versus important is I get an urgent phone call, an emergency phone call from a loved one at their hospital in a car wreck. That's urgent at that time. Yes, it's more important than me actually scheduling some posts for the week is something I can actually do later. And once again, if I've already got it done for that week, that's fine. Okay. And if I even haven't gotten it done, that's urgent. Going to the hospital for loved ones in a car wreck or something. Okay, that's urgent. So of course I'm gonna pick it urgent. Why? Because important can actually be done later in schedule. Okay. Once again, you gotta based on your personal preference in your personal life, okay, and what's actually going on and what's important versus urgent to you, okay. But like I said, use the important versus urgent method to identify what truly matters, okay. Tackle high priority, high impact tasks first. In other words, high priority, okay, what is your money maker? What's going to be bringing you income? Okay, that's high priority versus high impact tasks first. Okay, so tackle the high priority, high impact tasks first. Okay, so anything that is going to actually bring me, that means follow up phone calls to how you say a potential client or customers. Okay, high impact tasks first and high priorities. That's going to be important versus as high priority, high impact tasks versus me actually going through my email and delete them. Okay, that's very low priority. Okay, so make sure you're prioritized, like they said, effectively. Okay, the next one we actually want to talk about batch similar tasks. Okay, group similar activity, emails, calls, errands to avoid constant switching and mental fatigue. In other words, it's kind of like what we just got through talking about. You don't want to be actually working on doing some follow up phone calls, but then also trying to create some posts at the same time. So, so group similar activity, emails, calls, errands to avoid that constant switching and mental fatigue. Okay. So, similar activities would actually be like if I'm looking at an email and but I'm looking through my email for a call. So somebody that actually has left a call, I actually left a call and then also sent an email or something in errands. In other words, it's you want to kind of group similar activities all within the same block, if you will, okay, to avoid constant switching and mental fatigue and going actually back and forth. You don't want to do that. I want to check my email and take a phone call and then go run an errand. You don't want to do that, okay? Core principles. We actually just got through talking about core principles, personal organization. The person was understanding the connection. Now we're actually going to talk about the core principle of mental discipline. Okay. First thing we want to talk about the clarity of purpose. Okay. Define why a task or goal matters to you. It's easier to say discipline when the why is clear. Okay. So define why a task or goal matters to you, right? It's going to be easier to discipline when the why is clear while you're doing that. Okay, that task to go. Okay. Also, the next is the clarity of purpose. The next one in regards to the core principle of mental discipline, commitment over motivation. Motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes. Remember, I actually was talking about that earlier. You're not going to be motivated every day. Something's going to cause you to be motivated. Something might cause your motivation just to fly out the window. It's fleeting. Discipline keeps you going even when you don't feel like it. Okay. So that's very, very important to remember that. Okay. Um, Delay gratification. Train your mind to choose long-term rewards over short-term comfort. Okay. So once again, train your mind to choose those long-term rewards. What are you going to get that long-term reward? What is it going to be over short-term comfort? Okay. So that means actually what I'm doing today is going to be affecting what happens this week, later on this month, later on this year. Those long-term rewards. Okay. You got to train your mind for those. Okay. Over that short-term comfort, meaning like, I don't feel like doing it today. Okay. Something you don't feel like doing today. It's actually going to delay that long-term reward. Okay. Control your focus. Practice deep work by eliminating distractions during important tasks. Okay. Deep work by eliminating distractions during important tasks. Once again, all too well, I know about that. Once again, deep work, I said actually for me, that's when I'm actually like it's a scheduling for the week. And it depends on how many business you have or how many Facebook pages, business pages, whatever, all that's going to come into play. And for me, like I said, I've actually timed myself and kind of watched the clock in regards to when I'm preparing for that. Um, I have several business, but then also it means I have a couple of different business pages. Okay. So if I'm actually trying to prepare for the week for each one of those, okay, and that's not actually including another contract work that I actually have or an individual. That's pretty much about 4 hours. Okay. So you want to practice that deep work by eliminating distractions during those important tasks. Once again, I'm talking about the telephone calls that come through, whether it's friends, loved one, or someone else, someone actually knocking at the door, or someone actually want to talk to you, whether it's on the phone or want to come by and want to chit chat or want to hang out. Okay. You got to practice that deep work by eliminating those distractions. If that means turning off this little device or put on do not disturb during that time, that's what you actually need to do. Once again, if you follow me, um, for me, by focus right now, I actually have the please do not disturb actually on my door. That's actually for loved ones. If you do have loved ones besides yourself that you reside with or whatever, live at your household, that sometimes they don't always know, or someone might stop by. You never know. Okay. But in other words, there's still someone just coming in or just knocking and coming in once again, then you actually can prevent those distractions. Okay. Controlling your focus. Also, use time blocks for intense focus, then allow breaks. Once again, like I said, for me, being prepared and getting those posts created and scheduled takes about 4 hours. Use time blocks for intense focus, then allow breaks. During that 4 hours, do I actually take a break? Like if I actually need to go get something to drink, or if I just need to stretch or go get something to eat, I actually do. Okay, so you want to make sure you're doing that. Daily practices to strengthen both. Okay. Morning planning ritual. Spend 5 to 10 minutes deciding your top three priorities. You can do that morning planning ritual. I would actually say if you already um, have it planned for the week, then you actually already know what those three priorities are. Okay, that's something I would actually implement. I don't know if you're doing it weekly or monthly. That was something I would actually already have set up, so you know what your three top priorities are. If you don't do, or how you say, a weekly and monthly planning, and you do daily, the morning planning ritual, you need to spend 5 to 10 minutes deciding your top three priorities. If that's actually how you plan your day, and you just go day by day. Time block and schedule dedicated times for specific activities. Once again, an example, like I said, I have to block out 4 hours and I'm planning for, like I said, scheduling, posting, getting them created and scheduled for the week. Okay. So you want to do that time blocking. Okay. Well, time blocking, like if you're doing it for emails, it might only be like 30 minutes, 20, 30. Put it in your schedule time blocking where it's actually blocked out for you actually know what you need to do. Digital declutter, organize files, and clear inboxes regularly. I actually go through my email, believe it or not, mostly every day, and I actually have three different emails. And believe me, it can get cluttered pretty quickly. If you actually don't, you can actually look up and you will have over 1,000 or more than 1,000 emails that you actually even don't even need or use. So I would say, even if you don't want to do it daily, unless you do it weekly. Weekly for me would be overwhelming because what I see actually coming to my emails just on a daily basis is can be pretty overwhelming. So I actually go in and declutter that, get rid of that every day. I do. But once again, you want to organize files and clear inboxes regularly. Okay. And organizing files, put them in certain places, okay, for you to know where to find them because I tell people you can go back searching your email, but if you're actually one of the type of person who don't want to take the time to do that, then that's where you need to organize files, and then you can actually go and say, okay, that particular item uh, will be in that file. Okay. But that's important to take the time out to do that. Believe me, it actually helps you remove that stress, unnecessary stress. Mindfulness or meditation. Train your mind to remain present and resist distractions. Mindfulness and meditation, now, very, very important. And once again, because I'm a transformation coach, and if you do follow me, I have been following me for years, you know how I feel about being mindful. I have, like I said, my signature program and actually that is actually the transformation course that's part of my big threes, um, mind body and soul. So really, really important to me as far as being mindful. Mindfulness is very, or meditation, or actually both for me. Meditation, I actually do meditate, but once again, if it's something you do in the morning or something you can do at night, but you need to train your mind to remain present and resist distractions. And I will tell you this, just a little golden nugget. If you haven't trained your mind, being mindful or like the awareness, or don't do some kind of meditation as far as trying to remain present and resist distractions, you're going to fail. I'll let you know that right now. It happens all the time and can happen within seconds and quickly. Once again, you have to train your mind to be mindful and actually doing some, like I said, meditation to actually help you with that. Otherwise, believe me, it just doesn't happen unless you're a person who doesn't get phone calls, you don't get emails, or you really are. I am an introvert at heart, but once again, though, if you're a person who doesn't socialize a lot, or you don't have a lot of visitors, or you don't get phone calls, you don't get people knocking on the door. In other words, is you have to train once again your mind to remain present and resist those distractions. Okay. Easily to happen. Believe me, it does. Okay. Self check ins. Ask, am I doing what I said I would do throughout the day? Okay. Something to believe me. Sometimes I have to catch myself. Once again, that's coming from those distractions. You have to and do those self check ins daily. Okay. And if it's your day off, I wouldn't actually worry about it. I'm talking about on your days where your work days, where you actually are supposed to be working to move your business or businesses forward. Am I doing what I said I would do throughout the day? Okay. If you catch yourself and you realize that awareness kicks in, you're not, you need to get yourself back on track immediately. Once again, unless it's some kind of emergency. Otherwise, once again, you're just putting off those goals that you actually want. Just putting them off later. That's all you're actually doing. Okay. Now let's talk about overcoming some common challenges. Procrastination. Okay. It's a challenge for a lot of us. The solution, break your tasks into tiny steps and start with the smallest. Okay. Next challenge, overwhelmed. The solution, list everything, then eliminate, delegate, or defer. Okay. Next challenge, distractions. Phone, social media, we all know too well. Definitely it's a challenge probably for all of us every day. The solution, use app blockers or keep devices in another room during focus work. Like I just said, you want to take your phone and put it in another room. Me personally, I wouldn't do that, but there is a such thing as on your this little device you can put do not disturb for yourself or you should actually turn it off. Turn off the ring or do something, in other words, but I don't know about no app blockers, but keep devices in another room during focus work, or actually just turn them off. It's actually what I would do: turn them off, put them on silent, or like I said, put on do not disturb. You can actually do that on your phone. Challenge. Next challenge: loss of motivation, which actually happens to all of us. Okay, and like I said, you're not going to be motivated every day. The solution: revisit your why and track small wins. Okay, you got to. And once again, that comes from when you revisit your why. That comes from a journal. You're keeping a personal journal or any kind of health journal or a mindful any kind of journal that you have. That's important to keep that journal. And that's why, because you can always go back and revisit your why and track those small wins. Okay. When you have those loss of motivations, this is what I would be my go-to is that journal and revisit your why. Okay. And track those small wins where you can feel motivated. Okay. Benefits of mastering these skills. Let's talk about the benefits of mastering these skills. Lower stress and mental clutter. Please believe me, I do not care to have stress and the mental clutter. Do not. I'm a person, like I said, in passive doubt with anxiety. So please believe me, these are the benefits of mastering these skills. Lower stress. And I believe we all want lower stress or no stress and mental clutter. Okay. Increase productivity and consistency. That means you will become more consistent in what you actually need to do in reaching your goals, and you're going to increase that productivity in regards to your business. More time for personal growth and self care. Yes, it is. Because if you're actually doing what you need to do, then you're going to have more time for that personal growth and self care. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to feel like I don't have any time to grow personally, and then I don't have time to do my self care. Okay. So the benefits of mastering these skills is another benefits. Okay. Greater confidence and trust in yourself, because all of us have those. Am I doing this right? Or can I do this? Or should I be doing this? And once again, that's just you yourself. Then we're not even talking about the external factors. Okay. So when you're actually mastering these skills, you're going to build that confidence and have that trust in yourself. You're going to build that trust in yourself as well. Improved work-life balance. I'm a Libra, I'm a scale. So please believe me, anything that kind of gets tipped just a little way, something I actually struggle with right today. And I'm still, how you say, working with that. I said, in progress and still working on that and actually trying to master that. But improved work and life balance, which all of us, most majority of us, I would probably say 90 to 95% of the world actually struggle with that work and life balance. Okay. But those are the benefits of mastering these skills. Okay. Let's talk about a coaching tip. Let's go over real quick what we're talking about today. And that was actually the seventh. Let me go back real quick. Sorry. Let's go back real quick. Going back, we're talking about the seventh key principle for running a successful business: personal organization and mental discipline. Okay, so think of personal organization as building the container, okay, building the container, and mental discipline as keeping it filled with the right things. Okay, I like that one. Do it again. Think of personal organization as building the container, like you have a container, and then the mental discipline as keeping it filled with the right things in that container. Okay, both require ongoing maintenance. Keyword is ongoing maintenance. But once you master them, then everything else in your personal and professional life becomes easier to manage. And we all want that, guys. We all actually want that. Who doesn't want that? Okay. Once again, thank you all for watching the replay, because like I said, this is going to be a pre-recording. If you actually do watch the replay, please type in hashtag replay. I would love actually to hear from you, and I hope this how you say tip, as well as the seventh uh, key principle, as the next principle. It's the seventh key principle for running a successful business, which was about personal organization and mental discipline, actually helped you. If you know someone who's actually struggling with personal organization or mental discipline, please feel to share. Okay. And actually, like I said, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Take care. Have a wonderful Sunday. And like I said, and actually, when you'll be watching this video, it'll be Monday. So hope you're all having a wonderful Monday and enjoy the rest of your Monday. And I will actually be talking to you all soon. If you're actually interested uh, in speaking with me, once again, you can reach out to me several ways. You can send me an email, send me a direct message. I also always include if you're actually want to do what they call a free discovery call, free consultation with me, you can actually schedule it. I'll always put the link in there if you actually want to schedule that. Okay. Take care. Bye for now. Talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful week.